Hey, and are we working? And we are live. Hey guys, it's Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show, and we're back here with another great episode, introducing you to someone great that I know. So the Tim Gillette Show it's my name, but really it's all about you, the person who attends, and you, the listener, finding out about who they are. So today's guest is someone who is, in my virtual events mastermind, or in my virtual events group, I should say, because we have a virtual events group, and I met her many, many years ago. And I'm trying to think who introduced us, but I remember meeting in person, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But one of our close friends introduced us in person. Chella Diaz, all right, has done a couple clips with me before. Has been around, all right, is very wise when it comes to helping people get that money shit out of their head, all right, and do it right. So let's bring her on here and talk business. Hey, Chella, how are you?
I love that.
You like that money shit out of your head.
Well, can I get that in writing and with a picture? Because I think I may put that as a tagline.
You probably could pull a video clip off of this after you're done, and I won't mind if you use that video clip because it's got all my stuff in the middle. So hey, yeah.
Okay, good. I think I may do that.
Anyway, it's Saturday. I know it's like 9 a.m. where you're at. It's 11 a.m. where I'm at. I at least got up and had my coffee this morning. And did you?
Let us start right off. So I decided it was a good idea to give up coffee back in March.
Get thee behind me, Satan. It is like the nectar of the gods.
I know. And I've done it before. The last time it lasted 3 years.
Wow.
So I have 2 sons, and one of them, when I share that with him, he's like, why would you do that?
For me, it's a ritual every morning. All right. And that is like this morning, Saturday mornings. My wife doesn't work on Saturdays, so we get to go have coffee together. And my mom retired and moved down here close to me about 2 years ago. And now she gets to, every now and then we get to go have coffee together. So it's like, that's our morning ritual to us. This thing with Starbucks being closed, though, has been like, another one of those, like, but finally they gave us patio seats to sit on and stuff like that. That has been like my thing for years. So anyway.
So just that I'm on the right show. This is the dating show, right?
The dating show.
I'm so funny this morning.
Hi, how you doing? So, anyway. So, well, first of all, welcome to the show. All right. And I'm trying to think. There was somebody who introduced us in person. I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember who it was, but I know where it was.
Where was it?
It was at Craig Duswell's event.
Oh, okay.
It was there, and we were talking. There was a group of folks, and so I think it was. I don't know. There was an official introduction necessarily, as this is Chella, this is Tim. We were in a group.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought you and I met at another function, and then we seen each other again to start. But I can't remember. My mind is starting to go.
Well, we did see each other a few other times at other events, but we initially met.
Initial time was at Craig's then. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And then you live in California then.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but anyway.
I'm looking to move to Austin, Texas, though. So.
Okay, so that's where the Californians should go from in Texas. Some Californians are coming up here to Dallas, but very few of them are going to Houston. I'm just saying.
One of my sons lives in Austin. So.
Yeah, Austin is actually a cool town. It It's got its own quirky stuff, and literally those people who are into the tech stuff. That's kind of our center for tech here in Texas. Although Richardson, which is part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that was known for it for a long time. But that whole sector now over there is like, well, right now it's all closed up. Yeah. But it's all new office buildings were turned into something else. So anyway, so you know what I mean? You live in California. You know what I mean? You share things with people. All right. I love your about me. You know what I mean? How you help women in their money mindset. So you're finding that men are just too stupid. You don't want to help us anymore, and you want to work with women.
I'm so glad you said that. Because I recently ran a 5-day challenge for women entrepreneurs, and I did get a little bit of kickback. I do definitely work with men, awakened men. So qualify awakened men. You know, I have 2 sons, a former husband. So I definitely have male clients, but my main audience is women because we talk the same language.
Cool. You know what I mean? And you know, are you finding that the problems you're solving, are they mainly women that have the problem? Or is that just because, you know, that's where I started and it just branches out to those people who will also hear the message?
Exactly. You just said it. Oh, again, another visual there.
Yeah.
So I have found, not that men don't share, because there's a lot of great men, right? There really are. But women, we tend to share at a larger scale, right? If we find something, we're going to share it with our neighbor, with our cousin, you know what I mean? So we do a little bit more of that. So yes, by empowering one woman, I believe that I have a larger impact than if I work with a man.
Oh, okay, cool. And how long have you been doing this, Chella?
I'm going to say for over 15 years.
15 years. All right.
I'm just going to keep it at that.
Yeah. Before doing this, what were you doing before that?
Oh, very exciting. So before this, I was a real estate underwriter. I was that person, that godlike person that decided whether you got approved for your mortgage loan or not.
I dated a girl like that one time that basically, yeah, she was the underwriter. And she told me all kinds of stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, okay. Over this guy's head. So, I mean, and you just, well, 15 years ago, that would have been, you got out of that right about like just before the market went down, I guess.
Right. That. And then after that, I did, worked for another lender, but I was in charge of the fraud department, which we're not allowed to use the F word. It's called suspicious activity reports. That's what the FBI wants you to call it.
Oh, okay.
And so I got to work with directly with the FBI on several cases, and that was fun.
Well, you know, you and I are in the coaching speaking space, and when you mention like fraud or suspicious, let's be honest. There's some people in our field that I want to say are suspicious. I mean, would you agree or disagree?
Absolutely. But, you know, I totally. And I think that, you know, listen, I've worked with more coaches than I would like to admit. I've done more programs. I'll just give you a real short. 1 year, I was at an event, at a conference, some type of program, some type of business conference, 165 days out of the year.
Wow.
I won't do that again.
You know, before COVID, my business was a lot of traveling to events and speaking. And, you know what I mean? I could say, yeah, I've seen some good and some bad. But I want to say, like any industry, you're going to have bad in any industry. You're going to have good in any industry. All right. To qualify an entire industry and say everyone's bad into it, I think is wrong. I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
Totally. Right. And I also believe one step further, and not to be, you know, but also, like, let's say you work with a coach, that may be what you need at that point in time. Right. If you take away just one tiny little thing that is able to move your business forward. Right. And even if, and I'll speak for myself, and I worked with some coaches that I knew was not a fit, but I still went ahead and invested the $15,000. Right. Because, right. But I didn't trust my intuition. Right. But even that was a lesson for me. Trust the intuition for me, trust my intuition. And, you know, for me, that was a lesson. That was $15,000 lesson, but it was a lesson.
Yeah. And do you find that intuition over the years? What does it say? How do you learn how to make good decisions? All right. By making bad decisions. I mean, have you found that to be true?
We all know, right? We all know that we shouldn't be doing that. We all know we shouldn't be dating that person. We all know that, right? But we want to prove ourselves wrong, right? Yeah. It's that monkey chatter that happens, right? Well, maybe this person is right. Well, maybe this time it will be different. But to me, it's going back to trusting your intuition. And the only way to learn is by making those mistakes, like you just said, right? We have to, because how are we going to know? How are we going to be able to compare it to?
Well, yeah, and now let's relate that to you and helping women with the money and, you know what I mean, mastering the ideas. Is do you find a lot of your clientele, you know what I mean, are making the mistakes to learn how better to handle their money?
Absolutely.
Or how better to handle the mindset with it?
Absolutely. I'm somewhat unique in that I believe that the money picture that you're currently in is related and is tied to whatever money conversations you listened to as a child.
Oh, wow. Like, I don't want to tell you those conversations anyway.
Yeah, so if or somebody made fun of you, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take one of my male clients. Somebody made fun of him when he was younger, and he went to a summer camp outside of his neighborhood. And the kids made fun of him. They told him that he didn't have money. How could you not know that? Anyways, so they made fun of him. So now he makes great money, but he doesn't have the money because he keeps wanting to make those kids prove them wrong by spending a lot of money, right? By ordering food in all the time, by eating out all the time. So but once we're able to resolve and knowing and become aware that that's what you're doing, then you can make different choices.
So is part of your working with your people then, your clients, is it sitting down and actually talking to them about the choices they've made? Or does it include some of, like, you know what I mean, my dad, you know what I mean, would have, the reason I think so much about it, you know what I mean, he kept spanking me. Wrong, Tim, wrong. Anyway.
No, it's a lot. And it's a lot. I have over 15 healing certifications. You name it, I probably have it, done it, tested it. And most of the time, again, it's about trusting my intuition. My intuition is through the roof, I got to tell you. So I'm able to see, hear, and feel. So I know where people's, I say, money baggages are stored within their body, and what's preventing them from doing that. So it's just pretty awesome.
Do you think, and this is a bizarre, out there opinion, do you think even the wealthiest of people have money setbacks?
110%.
Why is that? And could you explain?
Well, one, two, I know that from my work, but two, I also have the proof behind me of all of the real estate loans that I underwrote. So I have the black and white, right? I have the tax returns. I have what they went through, which at the time I didn't know how that was going to serve me, right? So I have both. I have what I've seen in black and white, but I also have what I've experienced with my clients. Because we all have, even the most successful people, right? They all make mistakes. It's about how you choose to react to those mistakes. Yeah. Are you going to, learn and move forward, or are you going to get stuck in that? Are you going to stay stuck in the mud?
Yeah. Because I've known some people who are very wealthy. There's other mistakes they're making in their life, but the money is the what is the word I want to use? The money has become like, the crutch. As long as I keep making money, all that stuff's going to solve itself. All right. Whereas, someone like me, it is always along the lines of, like, I got to have all this right. And if I get all this right, the money will follow.
And you just said it. That's like a $10,000 advice, because people do find themselves, right? Because they're driven by the money.
Yeah.
But that money is not going to bring you the happiness or the joy or the relationships or that, right? So you got to get the basis. And I've been there. Yeah. Right. Just this morning, I was thinking, I've been there, right? So I was married, had 2 kids. We had a great life, great neighborhood, probably. And then I was divorced. So I've been to where, so I've been good with money since I was 9. Bought my first cars when I was 17, my first house when I was 23. Reached pretty high financial status very quickly, right? Because I was stuff just showed up. And then I went through the guilt, like, why do things come so naturally for me? Why are things so easy? And then, of course, the market rewarded me with that. And then I lost it all in 2012. So I know both sides. I know what it is to build it. I know what it is to lose it. And I know that I did it. Yeah. Right. Because I was feeling guilty, and and just being able to talk about it now is so freeing.
Wow. So, and I mean, when we go through you go through your past, all right, in your downtimes and stuff, can you name a mentor that, like, I mean, you kind of leaned on and went, oh my gosh, I mean, they've given some word of advice or something to you that now becomes that driving mindset?
Yeah. And I'm going to send this to my kids. No,
Wow.
my kids, really, really my kids, because I believe that each one of them are very different, but they all came with a set of instructions.
Mm-hmm.
But just watching them, they're experiencing new things, right? Is that childlike approach. And if we all take that childlike approach, not what people are going to think of us, not what are going to people say, right? Look, I'm getting chills all over. It's such a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And by watching my kids grow and blossom, and just even when they were stuck, or even when they were doing things that, getting in trouble, whatever, but it was those lessons. So I really, truly, and I say it all the time, I believe that my kids helped me become who I am today.
Cool. You said there for a minute, I got a little worried there. You said, like, I mean, my kids came with a set of instructions, and I was about to go, wait a minute, where's that set for my kids? All right. I have a daughter that is mine, and then 2 boys that is my wife's, and like none of them are the same. None are the same.
Right, but they're different, right? And it's about how they look at life. One of them is very outgoing, the other one is a little bit more reserved, but it's about giving them the space to blossom and grow with what they need.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, yeah, I look for those instructions, Tim.
I'm going to be looking for that. All right. Now, I think, our youngest is still not over 30. And I think he's the only one that's in a serious relationship that I'm saying is going to last. The other 2 relationships, I hope they're going to last. But anyway, I like the one anyway. But I mean, it's interesting that you would take, your mentorship from your children. For me, I always found that, I had little tidbits of words of wisdom that came along the way from people that sometimes was close, sometimes wasn't close. That word of wisdom drove me, and it stuck in me. And I was asked last week by a gentleman at my Starbucks, just basically he says, what is one driving thing you can say that makes people successful? One driving word of advice for success. And I remember giving him this advice and saying something like, there ain't no free lunch. And he went, huh? I said, yeah, my dad taught me if you want something, go work for it.
But that's true, though, right?
Yeah.
It is sort of true. So definitely that. I think that initially, before the kids, my driving force was proving my mother that I could make it. So, but I gave that up. So it's no longer about the drive for that, right? Because it worked, and I became very successful, but it was also a lot of work. So that was initially what got me there. My kids helped me along the way, and now I'm just holding on to all the lessons I learned from my kids, because I don't want to do it the hard way anymore. I don't want to push.
Yeah. Do you find that many of the people you help are in some cases are still trying to seek approval from a parent, or seek to prove a parent wrong, or something like that?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yes. A lot of the things. Oh my God. So that's another $10,000 tip. Yeah. We're going to be millionaires by the time we're finished here today. Yeah, absolutely. Because we want that approval. So as adults, whatever we didn't get as children, and that I could not have said it better. We want to go back and make that child happy. Whatever it was that child felt they were lacking. And that gets dressed up in many different outfits. So if you felt like, for instance, you didn't have money, or parents didn't have money to throw a party, right? You had a birthday, you couldn't throw it. So as an adult, you're going to go out and party, right? To make up, wanting to go back. I know it. It's not really always easy to see that, but every behavior you do now with your money or with your relationships is, in my opinion, a healing, wanting to heal something from your childhood. And sometimes you don't remember what that was necessarily, but it always goes back.
So, I mean, and I did notice that, you have some NLP training and stuff like that. Is that where you use that to come, come and try to help them dig out, okay, this is the reason what's holding you back from having success.
NLP, hypnosis, Reiki teacher, Reiki master, over 15. That, and also some pretty phenomenal gifts that were just, I believe, just for me. So what has happened is all 15 certifications were brought together in a gorgeous Tiffany box with a gorgeous, delicious bow around it. And so my gifts are incredibly powerful and laser focused.
Cool. And you know what I mean? You have, you said 2 sons?
I have 2 sons.
Well, what are they doing now and where do they live? Curious.
One in Austin, Texas, and one in LA. And I'm going to say they're drinking age. That's all I'm going to share on that.
Okay. Does mama go share drinks with them? I'm curious.
Oh my God, that's a great question. So I'm not drinking right now, but I am very proud to say that I taught my kids how to drink. Very proud. So my former husband did not drink at the time. So my kids knew how to drink, you know. What do you start with beer? Do you start with hard liquor? The whole rules, you drink water between the works. And I used to take them to happy hours, because at happy hours, you can take underage kids because it's still a happy hour, so that they know, just the social skills. So yes, very proud. I taught them how to drink, and I also took them to happy hours.
Wow. Yeah, and it's like, in our family, they didn't teach us how to drink. They just kept saying, no, you need to avoid that stuff. So then we had to go find out on our own. And I think, 2 of my brothers have DUIs. I don't. I'm lucky. One of our children has one too. I know 2 of our boys, I think, have. But it's like some people who don't learn the lessons of how to properly handle things. But that can relate to a lot of things in life. We don't learn how to properly handle things, and our successes or failures depend on how we learn how to handle things. Would you agree?
Right. Absolutely. Right. It goes back, what are you trying to, and at some point in time, it's about just being happy with yourself, not wanting to please other people. But it's a work in progress, right? We don't get there overnight, because that little voice is still hanging in there.
Yeah. So what is it that you are personally, I mean, if you're willing to share, all right, or just in a nutshell, share, what is it personally that you are working on right now that you're going, I'm working my way through this? And is there something you'd share with us?
Absolutely. This is recent. In July, I ran a 5-day challenge, and I did it because my coach pushed me to do it. And thank God he did. And I did it, and it was phenomenal. It was just amazing what the women transformation they received. And I did it without having the back end all totally completed. I mean, so I knew that stuff was still missing. So we did it about at 40%, and then I ran it again and just finished this month, yesterday. And this time we did a little bit more. We fixed some of the stuff, but it was so great to see what the women were experiencing, right? It's not about having it perfect. It's not about having it all together. It's about go out there and help people, and then you fix it, which I know a lot of coaches say that, but to actually experience it is phenomenal, because you feel like, let's face it, you're going down the hill and you really don't know if you have brakes. And it was great. It was awesome. And so that was for me a growth, putting it out there and doing it. And so excited because I'm going to do it again. 3 times the charm. Cool.
What is your clients are right now? Do you have somebody that has gone through a great challenge or a great thing that they've overcame that you helped them do that you could share with our audience?
Oh God, yes. Well, we talk about what the conversations that we don't hear, or money conversations that we hear, but what about the ones that we don't hear? What about if you grew up in a household where they didn't talk about money, right, at all? And it's about what that child took on as a conversation. And when this person was able to identify that, and it very near heart to my heart, because it was a year ago we started working together. And her business has, oh my God, she is on fire right now, right? But it's about, once you let go of that awareness or become aware of that, then all these things, you see things differently, right? I believe we were all born as a perfect diamond. And as we grow up and, loving parents and uncles and all of that, we get dust into our diamond, sometimes a little mud. And so when you begin to dust that off and you get rid of some of the mud, you're able to really see, one, your greatness, two, you're able to see things clearly around you, the opportunities, the clients, the partnerships, right? You're able to see all of that and you're able to take action. Because sometimes seeing it and taking action, that's a two-step process. So I'm just so proud because she is just blowing up her business right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she's taking me along for the ride. No.
Well, I mean, it's always good. All right. I mean, I love bringing my coach along for my successes. All right. And sometimes I'm embarrassed because of the way I was brought up. I'm embarrassed to show my coach my failures. But it's in that failure that my coach can help me find the way to get out of it. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So often I think I'm scared to share the failure. In your case there, do you find that some of yours that comes back to the childhood mindset I'm scared to show you my failure?
Absolutely. But see, if you think about it, and that's a good point. If you think about it, I think of the failures as you being in a pool, wanting to keep that beach ball underwater, mm-hmm. right? That takes a lot of energy and effort.
Mm-hmm.
But if you simply allow the ball to surface to the ground, the release and the relief, because you no longer have to cover it up, right? And who cares if people judge you, right?
Yeah.
If people judge you, that means, it's on their fence. It's not, and that's not on your fence.
Yeah.
So it's simply about letting, and I could not have said it better, right? It's about simply shining light on what we think is a failure.
I don't know, but when I think of that very scenario and just in my mind, I'm worried about like when that beach ball comes up out of the water, it goes 10 foot in the air and everybody sees it. And I'm like, oh crap, they all see my mistake. That's what I'm worried about. That's just me,
But Tim, that's a really great. What if there's 100 people near that pool because it's one of those ginormous pools? But what if by you doing that and that pool jumps up in 10 feet, whatever it is? But what if those people needed to see that in order to have the courage to show up for themselves? In order for them to bring out their soccer ball or their baseball or whatever, you know what I mean? What if, because sometimes we need for somebody to show us. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's like asking that first question when you're in the crowded room, right? You just like, oh, is this a silly question? What are people going to think? But once you ask, and I say this when I do workshops for my students, I do a lot of workshops for high school and college students. Once you get that first kid, I usually reward them, right? I usually bring in treats. So the first person that asks a question, they get a treat. So all of a sudden, there's like 10 kids that want to have a question, right? But
well, it depends on what treat you're giving. I mean, go ahead.
Believe it or no, this is, and I did not believe this. Sheriff badges. The plastic posty things, you just sticker things. Mm-hmm. High school kids love that stuff. I did not believe the sheriff when he told me that. So he gave me hundreds of it. But they do, it's just that little treat. It's not about what it actually, but they love those. They really do. Sheriff, I didn't say the police, but the sheriffs are love.
Yeah. It just reminds me of my wife and our Big Bang Theory watchers. All right. And the one episode where basically Sheldon gets out a sticker out of his drawer and gives it to Leonard and like, and he goes, well, you know what I mean? He goes, well, I don't feel like I earned this. And he goes to take the sticker from him. He goes, no, it's my sticker. I earned that.
They do. No, I've seen this. I really have seen it. Or whether, little erasers or different pencils, it doesn't have to be, a $50 gift card to somewhere. They just really enjoy just that, acknowledgement. So it's.
Well, I mean, if you're giving $50 gift cards out, sure, I'll be the first one to stand up. Okay, now, I mean, that's money mindset right there. All right. Hey, you're going to reward me big time. But
you don't know that, though. You don't know that initially.
Yeah, I don't. That's the problem. If you're going to, you know what I mean? There's certain whiskeys. If you're going to give me a certain whiskey, okay, now I'm jumping up first. I'm going to get that bottle of whiskey anyway. For some, that's the rewards they want, but you don't know that.
Right.
All right. Yeah. And I love that concept. So that's cool. It's cool. So the biggest thing, like if biggest word of advice you would give to people watching today who maybe they're afraid to actually face some of the money things they're going through, what's the biggest words of advice you can give them today on today's show?
I say that have compassion for yourself. Whatever mistakes you believe you made, it was the best that you could do at the time, right? We don't stay stuck in the mud. We all make mistakes, folks. Trust me. Trust me. You know, my list is very long as well. That is what we choose to learn from those mistakes. And I would not be where I am today if I did not lose all my money and all my properties, right? I really wouldn't be, because the compassion and the understanding that I have now for helping people, I didn't have before.
Wow. So, and you know, it's interesting to think of it that way, you know, and you know, most of us would never, you know, we wouldn't stop and think like, because some of us are still trying to avoid the failure, you know, still trying to push through and see if we can avoid the failure. And like I said, like I'm scared to death that the beach ball is going to come 10 foot in the air and everybody's going to see it. You know what I mean? That's still the mindset that personally, that I really, it's what I personally have to overcome sometimes is doing that. So it's interesting you share that today.
But we are, right? We're definitely afraid of the failure, or we're even afraid of the success, right? Because with success, we think that more problems are going to come, more people, you know. I know that was one of the things that I went to. It's like, well, I can not be too successful. I cannot have too much money because I'm going to have all these people come to me for money. Yeah, they can come to you, but that doesn't mean they have to say yes, right? There's a choice. And I know that may seem simple now, but this was quite a few years in the works, in the process for me. Getting over that. Just because they asked, it doesn't mean you have to go with it.
Very, very, very true. So,
and I tie that to my dad, right? So, you know, it's all to me, it's all about connecting, because once you connect them, and again, it's about, you know, it's a fear of success, it's a fear of failure, it's a fear that you're going to be judged. You know, identify one that is, and then it's taking the steps. We have so many resources available to us right now. Right? Start taking some of the steps. Is there a book that you can start reading? You know, is what can you start doing to help you shift that?
And you know, I do find it interesting because it was my lowest point that I actually found the books to pick up that fixed me. You know what I mean? And looking where I was 15 years ago myself, and it was the books I picked up then that if you'd have gave those books to me 3 years earlier when I had a very successful business, whatever, I would have thrown them off. Right. It's very interesting you say that now.
Because you never know, like, we all need to hear information in different ways, right? So I normally read and listen to about 100 books a year.
Cool.
This year I decided to slow down and actually go back and reread some of the books that made an impact.
Yeah. I was trying one year. I actually was trying to do, I used to set my goals at reading 14 books a year. That would be a little bit more than one a month. And 1 year I actually tried to create, when I got into this space and tried to create like info courses, I was going to do one course a year. My father-in-law passed away and I made it to 3. January, February, March, and boom, the whole world changed. It's funny how setbacks, you know what I mean, will affect those goals. And 2020 is a prime example of it. All right. You know what I mean? All of us have had one of the biggest setbacks in our lives. So
you got to be ready. We got to be right. It's a great opportunity right now for so many people.
You're right. So, well, Chella, please tell everybody the greatest place they can go to find you, a website or something that they have to reach you.
They can definitely ChellaDiaz.com, and on Facebook it's Chella, Chella is my business page. Okay. Very simple. We want to keep it simple. We want to keep it easy for everybody.
Simple, easy. That's Tim's brand. Yep. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Chella, and then ChellaDiaz.com. Beautiful.
Cool. Right? Cool.
They don't have to remember a whole heck of a lot of things.
Well, Chella, I thank you for coming on today's show. But I do have a little thing to close out the show. I think you've heard about my game, my little quiz.
I have.
And she's waiting to see what questions I have picked for her. So and you know, I mean, if you're the listener and it's the first time listening, we do a little a quiz at the end called This or That. where I give our guest 9 questions, 2 choices. They've got to pick one. Sometimes they result in conversations. Sometimes they're just yep, this is my answer. So today's 9 questions start off as always with my geeky one, and that is Star Wars or Star Trek.
NA.
You don't do either one?
No.
Oh man. Everybody's got an opinion on one or the other anyway.
No, NA, but I don't do movies very much either.
Wow.
I don't do television. I haven't owned a TV in over 10 years.
Wow. So I'm in the content creation game, so I have a TV because I learned from content on TV. Anyway.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My next one here is, okay, if you're riding in the car nowadays, if you do get in your car nowadays, lately a lot of us haven't been in there. Do you listen to podcasts or music or audiobooks or music?
Oh God, definitely audiobooks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the audio is, you finding that is this more relaxing, or you would rather take in the education than listen to the music now?
Well, I do education a lot of the time, but I got to tell you, I love the mystery books.
Oh, okay, cool.
So my drives, when I used to drive to Vegas for conferences, oh my God, I could like take 2-3 books in. Mm-hmm. It's just entertaining because it keeps my mind where it's like, I don't do like scary movies, but mysteries, I know I'm going to Agatha Christie movie, I mean, it's just wow. Yeah. So it's just, yeah. So the ride.
So yeah, I find it interesting because when I drove truck in the early 90s, there was this, like we had books on tape, and they literally were cassette tapes that we used to put in our trucks to listen to books. And I got really enthralled by a series done by the guy who does the Motel 6 commercials, Tom Bodett. And it was called The End of the Road. And it's about this town. He lives in Alaska. And the same thing. It was like the drama of this freaking town. I was renting that. If a new one came out, I would rent it to find out about what was going on with the people in this town. Anyway, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Listen, let's not make fun of the cassettes, because my car still has a cassette player.
Now, I don't even have a CD player in my car anymore. I can plug in these little SD cards. Let's see if I have one here. I don't even have an SD card up here. I can plug in my USB, an SD card, and listen to that. All right. Or I can just tap into my whatever's on my phone. But yeah. And it's funny that, like, if you'd have told me like 10 years ago I was not going to have a car with even a CD player into it, I would have laughed.
Yeah. I love my CD. So yeah, definitely books, and also entertaining. And then, education. I do a lot of autobiographies that way, because, you can just sort of go in. So
see, some of these questions pawn whole conversation.
Now we know about mystery. Yeah. Now we know what you like. You used to listen to when you were on the road. This is awesome.
So my next one here is, you know what I mean? Would you rather, all right, especially in this pandemic, would you rather dress up or wear like yoga pants?
I'll say dress up.
Okay.
Because to me, I know it could be mental, folks. I know you're thinking, well, that's just a mindset. But if you look, right, and I'm having to show up, I attend about 10 networking events a week. Okay. Right. So to me, getting the dressed up is like step one. So then I show up in my best self, and I am able to really serve and give. So
I know Larry Broughton out there. He's out near you. Larry taught me that early on in the pandemic. I had a conversation with Larry, and he said, I get up every day, you know what I mean? I shave, I shower, or I dress up, even though I'm going to sit in my living room with a laptop. He says, it's just part of, I am not giving up my routine. I'm going to keep my professionalism, and I'm going to keep doing it. And it's the same thing. I mean, I dress up my same dress I wear every day. So.
But also, it rightly prepares you, right? It's like you're telling your body, okay, we're gonna do this now, and so definitely dress up.
And even like I spent like a week and a half ago, I drove a friend's car from Los Angeles out here to Dallas, and I literally I'm in the car in the same things that I would wear if I was in the office, I was attending an event, I'm in the car, and same thing. It's just, to me, that's clothes. Well, now when I'm done at night. You know what I mean? We after we eat dinner and relax on the couch, I'm in pajamas and a t-shirt.
Right. It's like a different season, right? You do this a day, you do this Yeah.
It signals it's time to relax with my wife. Yeah.
It's a habit, right? It's a habit.
Yeah.
So it's about building those habits. It
Yep.
makes it easy.
Cool. So my next one, we move into a little bit of food category, and that is tacos or hamburger.
Ooh, tacos.
Tacos.
I know you're going to say, but potato tacos to be more specific.
Well, no, I mean, come on. When it comes to tacos, it's like
Oh.
I've had people come on the show who are like, "Well, I don't do hamburgers because I'm vegan," and I'm like, "Yeah, but like I'm not vegan, but I'm going to tell you, there's some pretty darn good vegan tacos out there."
They are.
I mean, I love different things. I don't like Mexican food, but I love tacos. Figure that one out.
Well, are we talking Tex-Mex Mexican food? Or are we talking LA Mexican?
I don't like Mexican food.
Really?
I like tacos. That's it. When it comes to the Mexican thing, I like tacos, and I don't know why. But anything else Mexican, my wife loves Mexican food. I'm just like, it's not my thing.
Okay, so wait a second, Tim. So are you saying that we go to a Mexican restaurant, you're going to have your favorite 3 tacos because this is like just one of the best places, and you're not going to have the beans and the rice?
If we're in California, the chances of me going to a Mexican restaurant with you are slim and none.
Okay.
And probably I stopped at McDonald's to get food on the way because I have not eaten in a Mexican restaurant in California while at an event and not gotten sick.
Oh,
I don't, that was like the cement in going to, it's always been events. I was at an event and everybody wanted to go to the Mexican restaurant. So I went, sure enough, the next day I was in bed sick.
Oh, you mean like sick?
Huh? Like sick. Like, yeah, curled over, thrown up. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I avoid it now. And I know it's not all Mexican food, but it's like, oh my God, that became like that mind brain thing that I'm like, okay, from now on, if I'm at an event in California, all right, or even Vegas, I'm like, I'm not eating the Mexican food.
Okay. Sushi?
Oh, I'll do sushi almost anywhere. Probably not in the heart of, Indiana, but yeah.
All right. No Mexican food for you. But once upon a time when you went to Mexico and you're saying skip the rice, skip the beans.
I would eat like the Fuzzy's tacos, what we get here. I'll eat the rice and beans from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, just in general, as I don't I don't like Indian food either. My wife loves Indian food. It's just not my thing. There's certain like recipes she can make that I will eat. All right. But me going to an Indian restaurant, she goes with my mom because they both love it. And I'd rather go to McDonald's.
I would definitely come over and I could be the threesome on that one because Indian food is like definitely my top 5.
Yeah. I'm big on Italian food. I love hamburgers. So I'm a big hamburger freak. And that's why I put that question in here. So
Italian is good. I know some pretty awesome Italian.
So speaking of events and restaurants, again, I told you, these are always going to go into side conversations. I'm in Vegas for 2013 for what used to be Blog World. All right. And I think it was called the New Media Expo or something like that before they actually ended it. And I met a lady who became a client of mine and we were like, we're going to go to dinner. So we walked out, we got into a cab and we're like, hey, we said to the cab driver, we want to go to a good Italian place. Tell us where. This cab driver suggested this place that was like in a shopping center in Las Vegas. He took us there and he said, if you don't like it, all right, you call me. I will be the cab driver that picks you up and takes you back to the hotel. And if you don't like the food there, I'll pay for your dinner. And I'm telling you, the two of us raved. I mean, I haven't talked to this girl in years, but the two of us raved to everybody about this Italian restaurant. It was so good. All right. They paired it, they had a wine. So they paired it with everything with wine. And like, we were in love with it. It's like, I think that was part of the thing was why she signed the contract and became a client of mine because I took her to a great Italian place. And it wasn't even me. It was the cab driver who found it for us.
At a shopping mall?
It was a shopping center. Yeah. And it's like, shopping center, like, here's the UPS store. All right. Here's the pet store. Here's the Subway. Italian restaurant. I couldn't tell you where it was either.
Right next to where you can get your oil changed.
Yeah. The oil change place was next door. I think there was a grocery store around the corner. I don't know. But yeah, interesting. Yeah. It's like one of those things like now, I mean, my wife and I, when we travel, we ask, cab drivers and stuff for opinions because
They know.
they know. I mean,
They know more from their personal perspective versus the touristy, right?
And I've also found it too that when I did that now we do a lot later, we're doing Uber now, but back then we were doing cab drivers. Usually the cab driver would then say, well, yeah, and here's my number. You call me and I'll come pick you up and take you back. Yeah. So we know who the cab drivers were. I mean, we had a list of cab drivers that we could trust because they told us good food. You know what I mean? They gave us their personal numbers, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
got it.
Yep. My next one goes on to, you know what I mean? Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Beach. Well, you live in California. That's yeah. My next one here, wine or beer, which you're not drinking right now, but
beer would win. Guinness.
Guinness?
Go Gad. Yeah.
We're big on like the craft brews. So, yeah.
I could definitely drink. I mean, when I did drink, I'm telling you, 6 martinis in one night was not unusual.
I don't want to tell you how much I've drank over a week.
Oh, okay. For me, that was big. Or Playboy Jazz Festival, 4 of us and 11 bottles of wine.
Wow. So, So my next one goes to another food question, and that is, does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
Heck no.
See,
pure.
Sometimes there's opinions.
No, you gotta get it. Oh my God. And so next time you're in, we talk about pizza. I have the best pizza in LA and Orange County. Here in Orange County.
Okay. So
I mean, these people flew in or drove in their oven from Italy.
Oh, baby.
Okay. It doesn't, you can see the video on they flew it in. Oh my God. This stuff, it's a dad and a son, and I think the mom may be there, but no. Now, I respect if somebody wants to have there, but it just can't sit at my table.
Interesting. So my next one moves on to one of our most controversial questions, and that is toilet paper. Does it go over on the roll or under?
Okay, this is really good because I've watched your interviews. So prior to watching you, prior, I would have said definitely under, but I took it as a challenge and I did it the other way. I did. I was like, I'm going to be ready. So I took it as a challenge, and I got to say, I think I'm going to be top now versus under.
Wow.
Yeah. But I want you to know, sometimes when we take these actions, it's about, changing things up to the brain and see how it reacts.
So mine is, okay, the empty roll is sitting there and the next roll is sitting on top. You know that, right? That's in my personal bathroom right here.
No. You have this question and that's what you got?
My personal bathroom, it's like I'm the only person who uses it. My wife, comes up very rarely and uses it because it's attached. And literally, it's the only room in this house that we didn't renovate. And I think the shower has been used by guests. That's it. Since we've been here 2 years, it was the only room in the house that really we did not renovate. We left it the way it was, and we're like, no one's ever going to see it. We don't care.
But I did used to have a little attitude when I used to go to people's house, and I did judge them. I was like, how could they have it under? Don't they know this is easier? So I did go into a judgy, but since I watched your show, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. So I'm testing it. I'm going to do it for, I don't know, a couple of more weeks and see how it goes.
So you've been watching this show, so you know the last question.
Well, you do them in different order, so no.
The last question is, do you prefer boxers or briefs?
Oh, briefs.
Yeah. It's not that hard of a quiz, but it can put some controversy into it and everything. So,
and you learn so much more about the people. I like it. Yeah, I definitely do.
It is. It's a neat way to find out about people by asking them unique questions and stuff like that. So, Chella, one more time, tell them your website, both so people on the audio can understand it as well as the people watching by video.
I'd be delighted. So it's Chella, Chella, Diaz and David, IAZ.com. That's my website. That's also how you can find me on Facebook, Chella, Chella.
Cool. So, Well, Chella, I thank you for coming on today, being my guest, getting to know you on camera, and some unique things about what you do and how you help people. And really, you know what I mean? Face their failures and come out the other side successful. I love it. So thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm so glad you do this. I really do.
Cool.
Go back, folks. Go back and listen to some of the other shows, because you never know where you're going to learn something. So I'm going to be the Tim fan now. We're going to start a club.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. Have a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah. So you guys, the listeners, all right, thank you for listening in. Go and check out ChellaDiaz.com. Check her out, all right, and go by her website, as well as go check her out on Facebook. If you have not by now, go on to TimGilletteShow.com and actually subscribe to our Apple podcast. All right. We'd appreciate that, as well as subscribe to our new YouTube channel. That is TimGillette.com/YouTube. We'll take you to our new YouTube channel where you can subscribe. I'm Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show, and I will see you next time with another great guest. Bye, guys.